Hi, Gary here again, September 25th, and working away on this thing. We're very close to getting it fired up. I've done most of all of the wiring for all the components, the electronics, the dash, and all that kind of stuff, instrumentation. And I had to extend the seat tin work by the front because we moved the seat tube down a little bit and forward about 3 inches. So the old tin work in the seat didn't quite reach the end, and so there's nothing for it to support itself onto. And so it's really close to the drive shaft, and if you sit in it, it's actually rubbing on the drive shaft right now. So I can't really start the thing up and fire it up that way. That's kind of dangerous. So I had to redo that tin work in order to be able to fire this thing up. And just been a pile of wires and stuff like that. I'll take you for a little walk around and show you what's been happening with some of the wires here. Okay, go around to the other side of the car. There is a pile of wires. These are all loose wires. Some of them go to some of the sensors that I don't really need to have hooked up right now. I've just kind of grouped them up and got them out of the way for now. So we've got the race pack, we've got the temperature gauge right here. If I turn the switch on here, it'll all power up. There we go. So piles of wires. There's a 25-pin connector that goes to the exhaust temperature gauge here, and another 9-pin. Then there's a 34-pin connector that goes here. There's another great big huge connector that goes here. And right here on this side, I've got a little fuse panel, a relay for the starter. So all these wires come through from, not all of these wires, but many of these wires come through from the engine side of the engine plate here on two mil-spec connectors, and also on a 25-pin connector back and behind there. You can't really see it. So what I've done is I've tried to sort of componentize most of this stuff so that if I want to take just the instrument panel off, then there's just a few connections and the whole thing comes off. And also with the whole sort of electronics panel here, I've done the same thing. There's a few connectors and things like that. So all you have to do is undo a few connectors. There's 3 1/4-inch bolts there in the front and 2 1/4-inch nuts in the back, and that whole panel comes off with all the electronics, the computer, the ignition and the coil and the fuse panel. Everything just comes out of there. So it makes it fairly quick and easy to remove either one of these. Back in behind here, I don't know if you can even see it. There's a couple of mil-spec connectors and the 25-pin connector. The 25-pin connector goes to all of the exhaust temperature sensors that are on the bottom of the headers here. Can't really see them, they're underneath there. And then all the other wires come from sensors, some of them from the crank trigger, water temperature, oil pressure. Right now I've got all these just tagged with painter's tape on them. All of these wires are all just tagged with painter's tape on it. And eventually they'll have proper labels, and then they'll have clear heat shrink that goes over top of them, so that'll protect them. They want to have all the wires all labeled. And some of these are zap strapped in place. Quite a lot of them are just held in place with painter's tape right now. I didn't want to waste a whole bunch of zap straps, considering I might have to move these somehow or remove some of it and whatever. So for now, I just used painter's tape just to sort of hold them in place where I wanted them to be. And that's about it for that part. Bring you back over here again and set the camera up. Oops, we're a little crooked there. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is a little sort of test fit of the seat and the cage with the helmet on. It's not the correct helmet. I'm still waiting for my safety gear. It should be here, I think, sometime this week. Everything's here except for the gloves, so you're just kind of waiting on that. So it should be here, I would expect, sometime this week. But I've got a helmet that I can use just for test purposes here right now. I just want to be able to sit in the car, make sure I can get in and out. It's still really tight, like the cage is really low in this car. Eventually I may have to end up cutting it off and putting a different cage on top of it. But anyways, I think it'll work. Just kind of like fitting into a sardine can. So I'll go through the whole process here. Hopefully you stick with me. It's about maybe 5 minutes. I'll run through the whole process of actually making a run. For those people that haven't been around cars like this, they don't really know what goes on in the car. They think all you do is just like push on the gas pedal and hold the steering wheel straight, and that's all you do, go for the ride. But in actuality, there's a ton of stuff that happens very quickly, and it's all in sequence. So you have to be careful that you don't miss a step. So one of the processes is to try and make it into muscle memory. So as many times as possible, you just get into the car, go through all of the steps, just like as if you were at the track. So just go through every single little step. And then if you do that enough times, then it kind of becomes muscle memory, and you don't have to think so much about what you need to do, what not to do. So I'll try to describe things as I'm going through it. So like I say, it'll be about 5 minutes or so. So hopefully you stick with me. Hopefully I don't find it too boring. Oh yeah, you'll have to excuse my engine's imitation sounds, just to give you an idea of what's actually happening. There we go. Got my helmet here. Pull this up. Slip the helmet on. Whoops. Make sure the camera's in the right spot. There we go. So in the real car, I'll be climbing over the fender to get into the car. Whoops. So for now, I'm just using the little step ladder. This thing is super tight to get in and out of. So you have to be like really careful. I just barely fit in this thing. Okay. Steering wheel's on. Naturally, I have to pull the safety pin out. This is a safety pin for starting the car. It won't allow the starter to be turned until you pull the pin out. So, next step is just kind of squish yourself up at the front here. Get the helmet on first of all. Thread it through. Make sure it's good and tight. And then, there we go. Once you're in here, it's okay. It's just a tight fit. There. Now, gotta get the center buckle, crutch buckle. Hook up one of the left buckles. Oops. There. Hook up the other left buckle. And then we got the shoulder straps here. Right now I don't have a Hans device on. When I'm actually in the car, I'll have a Hans device. That's one component of the safety equipment that hasn't come yet, so still waiting on that. So these straps will go on, just like this. A lot of times it helps if you have somebody on the outside of the car to help you do all this kind of stuff, because these cars are so tight. There's just not a lot of room, you know. And then we're going to pull the belts here, pull that belts good and tight, suck them up good and tight, like this. And then we're going to pull the shoulder strap belt down. Oops. good and tight. Like this. Check it all. Make sure we're in there really good. And that's it. And now we're ready to start the car. So I'll be turning the ignition on, fuel's off, make sure we're in park, and turn the master power on here. Lights up the gauges and all this kind of stuff. I'll be getting someone to prime the injector. They'll squirt some gas into there. So somebody's going to be priming the injector. When they're done with that, I'll pull the fuel on. I'll hit the starter. It'll spin around a few times. I'll wait till I see the oil pressure starting to come up. Once the oil pressure comes up, I'll hit the ignition, and then the engine will be running. I'll just, okay, so it's running. Hand on the brake. Now we're still in park. Go to reverse, neutral, first, and if you want to double check that, we want to go second, we're in the third right now. Okay, second, first. So we're in first gear right now. Ease off on the brakes. The car is going to start rolling forward. We're going to be turning from the staging lanes into pointing down the track, so we're going to be turning to the left here. And then we're going to be getting close to the water box. We're going to be pulling it into second gear before we hit the water box. Once we roll through the water box, it's a little trough on the track where they put water. Back tires roll through that. So the car will just be going through the water box. Tools goes through the water box. I'll be on the gas and then third gear right away. So doing the burnout, and then I'm done on the brakes. Second, first, neutral. Oh, sorry, I already missed a step. So go back to firing the car up. So the car is running, we're in park, brakes on, and now we're ready to go through, do the burnouts. Reverse, neutral, first gear, and I should have hit the burnout button. Burnout button restricts the RPM to a certain RPM, whatever you set it to. So I should have hit the burnout button. So we're rolling, we're in the staging areas, once again, heading for the track, for the water box. Turn the car to the left, in second gear, you roll through the water box, on the gas, boom, third gear, right away, do your burnout, brakes, come to a stop, burnout switches off, second, first, neutral lockout, reverse, back up, got somebody backing you up. You go past the lights, and then hopefully they stop you before the water box. So you stop. Now you're in neutral. Now you're in first gear. Once again, if you want to double check all the way back, it can't go anymore. We're in third, second, first. Now we'll start creeping forward. Pre-stage will come on, and then everybody moves away. We're going to creep forward a little bit with a little bit of brake dragging. The stage light will just barely come on. It's shallow stage it, barely come on. Stage light's on, hard on the brakes. Goes yellow. Boom, we're gone down the track. 2, 3, 1. Second gear, 3, 2, 1. Third gear. And then by that time we're going through the lights, the parachute, off on the gas, on the brakes. Watch the RPM come down to below about 4,000. Below the stall speed, the engine should drop off. Hit the fuel shut off. When the engine quits, ignition shut off, on the brakes again. And then roll to a stop. And that's about it for the run. You get stopped, brakes on. Go to the safety lever again, reverse, make sure it's in park so the car can't roll. And that's about it. And after that, you release the seat belts. Get rid of all this stuff. After every run, you have to reset all the belts and everything. So that's it. We're going to take the wheel off. We're going to get out of the car and hang the wheel over there. Like I say, very tight, very tough to get out. In. And we're going to go down here. Now we're out of the car, so Hopefully we went straight down the track. We didn't bounce it off the walls. And we probably ran somewhere between, I don't know, 770, maybe 8-second run, something like that. Anywhere from 165 to 175 miles an hour. So that's how it goes. So haul it back to the pits, get it all ready for the next one. So as I said, we're just about ready to fire it up. I'm excited about that. Can't wait for that to happen. So anyways, I'll be taking lots of video. We'll probably have quite a few people here. I'm going to do, I think, a little test run first of all before I let everybody know, just to make sure we don't have any major issues like oil leaks or water leaks or any kind of stupid stuff like that. I don't want everybody to come out here and expect to start the car up and you know, fire it up and end up with a massive oil leak or fuel tank leak or some stupid thing like that. So just want to make sure everything is good to go before we really let everybody know. And then everybody and their dog wants to come over and see this thing fire up. So we'll that'll be a great day. So we'll catch you next time. Until then, take care.